brainy like Fern here.
Welcome to Ms. Mojo, and today we're looking at instances where SNL cast members or hosts took a sketch in unexpected and unscripted directions.
I believe that the arc of the moral universe is wrong, but it bends towards justice.
Here.
Number 20, Pete Davidson's lips. Some SNL cast members can create a wide variety of personalities. Others specialize in just playing themselves.
No, but I'm actually chocolate. I'm not black at all.
Ridiculous. Another like the story. Look at those big chocolatey lips behind them fangs.
Even when Pete Davidson is dressed as a character like Count Chocula, he's still basically playing Pete Davidson. Dave Chappelle only emphasized this in an edgy sketch featuring Maya Rudolph as Aunt Jemima and Kenan Thompson as Uncle Ben. Chappelle is the Allstate guy, although he starts breaking before even delivering his first line.
If we can't work, how come the Allstate guy gets to work?
Now wait a cotton-picking minute, Uncle Ben.
When a certain cereal mascot shows up, Chappelle looks directly into the camera, telling America to look at Pete Davidson's lips. Not Count Chocula's lips, Pete Davidson's. The fourth wall break seemingly crept up on Davidson, who spits out his vampire fangs in laughter before shoving them back in.
Seriously, America. Look at Pete Davidson's lips.
Okay.
Number 19, Scared Straightfaced. A highlight from the show's 50th anniversary special saw Eddie Murphy, Kenan Thompson, and Will Ferrell as a trio of inmates attempting to scare a group of delinquents straight.
Hey. Everything okay in here, guys? Wow, no one else is wearing their spring uniform?
Thompson begins to crack when Ferrell enters the mix. Although Murphy manages to remain composed for most of the sketch, things start to go off track after he breaks the fourth wall with an F-bomb.
Not that lights went out in Georgia.
While you could at least argue that this profanity keeps in character, Murphy and Thompson lose control when Ferrell stumbles over a line about Buddy the Elf. It goes to show that even with years of experience under one's belt, no SNL vet is immune to breaking. Hey, it's not like that's a crime.
You're not gonna be named Elf. You're not gonna be an elf named Buddy. You're not.
Number 18, Norm Macdonald's mustache mistake. One of the all-time greats, Norm Macdonald was undeniably dedicated to his craft. At the same time, Macdonald often looked like he just didn't give a crap.
Every day I would go home and dream that he would ask me to marry him. But he never did.
Nowhere was this more evident than in a 1998 sketch when Sarah Michelle Gellar hosted. Revolving around a show aimed at teenage girls, Macdonald appears as an old man who directed Jonathan Taylor Thomas. Although Macdonald was in his late 30s, he created an elderly illusion with white hair, thick glasses, and a mustache, which falls off.
This is not a real mustache. You thought it was...
Rather than ignore this hiccup, Macdonald calls attention to the cheap prop, saying that he bought the mustache off the street. Good thing the sketch required his co-stars to giggle. Otherwise, their laughter would have stood out like, well, a fake mustache.
I bought it off a fellow in the street. He seemed like a nice enough fellow. I asked him, will it fall off? He said no.
Number 17, Don Rickles roasts the cast. The king of insult comedy only hosted SNL once in 1984. In typical Don Rickles fashion, he made a mockery of the show, throwing in more than a few ad-libs.
A little too. Okay, that's what I'm gonna do. A little too. Then you'll be okay. Okay. You take care of yourself, and I'll be right back. In a couple of minutes.
The most notable example is when Rickles plays a man entering the witness relocation program. When his character is given a cowboy hat as a disguise, Rickles lets loose. Joe Piscopo tries to go along with it, although Rickles tells him to stick to the script while he injects the funny stuff.
Don't tell me to relax. Look at how I look. I look like Gabby Hayes without a wagon. What are you, nuts?
You look a little like Frank Fontaine, though. You really...
I'll do the funny stuff. You just do the regular lines.
Rickles and Piscopo proceed to playfully slap one another as they continually chuckle between their lines, some of which are clearly spontaneous. All the while, Jim Belushi does his best not to join in the slap-happy madness.
I'm willing to move. I swear to God, I'm willing to move.
Where are you going?
Wait a minute. I know you. No, I'll tell you this. Where am I going to go? I'm going to get an apartment in New York. That's what I'm going to do. Get a nice apartment. No.
Number 16. John Belushi slashes Buck Henry. Buck Henry would host SNL 10 times, becoming the first to enter the Five Timers Club. As impressive as that milestone is, Henry's name on SNL is largely defined by a 1976 sketch with John Belushi.
You realize that 1 year ago I was on top of the world? I was supporting my wife and my 3 children. I also had that apartment in town with a little friend of mine, you know what I mean?
As his samurai character, Belushi was his usual live wire self. Although the sketch reached another level of chaos when he accidentally whacked his sword into Henry's forehead.
You said that this stock would split 3 for 1. For 1, right? Well, I suppose that's a little bit better, but that's not exactly what I'm talking about.
Although Henry exited the scene before it became apparent to the audience, the sword left a cut. Ironically, a doctor was already there for Belushi, but it was Henry who needed medical attention. Henry went through the rest of the episode with a bandage on his head. The cast members got in on the joke, also wearing bandages.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you, band. Thank you, folks.
You think this was done on purpose?
And thank you, Garrett, wherever you are.
Number 15. Jitters at Jeffre's. Jimmy Fallon and host Sean Hayes play a couple of snarky clothing clerks who pride themselves on being superior to their customers.
Okay, I have Moroccan dental floss that's more expensive than your entire wardrobe.
What? This is a genuine Looney Tunes jacket.
Wow, I didn't know Joey Buttafuoco had a garage sale.
Conversing with Horatio Sands, Fallon and Hayes lose their cool before Will Ferrell even shows up. That said, when Ferrell arrives on a scooter with a bowl cut and sunglasses, Fallon and Hayes are beyond staying in character.
Okay, you guys. Hold on.
Fallon we expect to break at some point in every sketch. Ferrell can't keep a straight face, though. You know the sketch has gone to pieces. The ridiculously tiny cell phone is the kicker that gets Ferrell to crack a grin before fully giving into the giggles. By the end, everyone seems content with just laughing to the finish line.
We're going to the Dolce & Gabbana show. How fast can you have your bags packed for Milan?
I've got my Jack Spade bag packed already. My Paul Smith does. My Paul Smith does saying au revoir.
Number 14. Every Stefon. It's hard to think of a character who broke more frequently than Weekend Update city correspondent Stefon, who Bill Hader created with John Mulaney. Stefon's constant breaking was by design. Mulaney essentially trolled Hader, writing new jokes before going live.
Who wears tinted aviator glasses and he spins records with his little ravioli hands. Stefon.
Even during rehearsals, Hader had to summon all of his willpower not to crack up while playing Stefon. So, whenever Mulaney threw him a curveball, Hader was pretty much helpless.
And this place has everything. Kiwis, spud webs.
Just as the audience never knew what Stefon would say next, Hader couldn't always predict what would be on his cue cards. Throughout his SNL tenure, Hader was meticulous when it came to learning his lines. Yet his most famous character is one he could never fully prepare for.
This place has everything. Asbestos, lupus, the magazines at Supercuts, Dan Cortez.
Number 13. Adam Driver crushes Bird. We're just gonna say it. Adam Driver's most transformative performance was on SNL, playing oil baron Abraham H. Parnassus.
Now, what does an oil baron do? The answer? Crush your enemies! Grind their bones into dirt! Make them regret they were ever born!
We're not kidding when we say that Driver brings the same intense gravitas as Daniel Day-Lewis in There Will Be Blood. This only makes the Career Day sketch more hilarious. Pete Davidson isn't the only one who can't look Driver in the eyes with a straight face as he delivers deranged rantings about crushing his enemies.
Until I was ripe enough to walk! My bones never hardened, but my spirit did. Be strong and crush your enemies!
Nobody takes a harder beating than a bird. Granted, the bird is already dead, but it still looks painful as Parnassus slams the feathered friend onto the floor. When Parnassus starts stabbing the bird with his cane, the classroom isn't sure whether to laugh or gasp in horror.
I have licked you into pickings! I crushed you into the ground! And now your bones turn to oil beneath my living feet!
Number 12. Matt Foley, Table Smasher. Rehearsals allow cast members to get all of their giggles out before going live. Of course, when acting opposite a comedic force like Chris Farley, there was almost always some leftover laughter that made it to air.
You're gonna be doing a lot of doobie rolling when you're living in a van down by the river.
The most prominent case was the debut of Farley's most quotable character, Matt Foley. David Spade and host Christina Applegate can only do so much to conceal their smiles as Farley throws himself into the sketch. We mean that literally, as Farley comes crashing into the coffee table.
Old Matt's gonna be your shadow. Here's you, here's Matt, there's you, there.
Although Farley had planned this fall, his co-stars were not informed ahead. Farley may pick himself up quickly, but you can sense everyone else is wondering if this was an accident or part of Farley's genius. Either way, they were not ready.
Matt, thanks for all you've done. I don't give a rat's behind because I'm moving in. I'm sick and tired of living in a van down by the river.
Number 11. Damon Wayans gets himself fired. Usually, when SNL goes off script, it's an innocent mistake that can't be helped. This was not the case when Damon Wayans decided that he'd had enough of the sketch series.
I don't think you get the message, Carrasco. We got you cold.
Yes, we've got the whole transaction on videotape. We still got 3 people that saw you kill that undercover cop.
If Lorne Michaels wasn't going to showcase his talents, Wayans figured he'd steal the spotlight himself. During a sketch where he played a cop, Wayans gave the character a gay twist at the last minute. So, instead of focusing on Jon Lovitz's Mr. Monopoly, Wayans' questionable acting choice became the talking point.
Get out of jail free.
You're that guy from the game, Mr. Monopoly.
In the flesh.
This was an act of self-sabotage. Wayans knew such a stunt was grounds for termination. Michaels gave him exactly what he wanted, although he'd still welcome Wayans back to the show. SNL certainly wasn't the end of Wayans' career either.
If the Parker brothers could see you now, they'd puke. Why you ain't in jail, Miss... Oh, that's right, you're Mr. Monopoly.
Number 10. Debbie Downer and Company break character. One of the most legendary sketches in the show's history involves Rachel Dratch's pessimistic character, Debbie Downer.
Ever since they found mad cow disease in the U.S., I'm not taking any chances. It can live in your body for years before it ravages your brain.
Dratch had everyone in stitches, including herself during the debut of the character. Her first appearance came on May 1st, 2004, and it involved Debbie and her family at Disney World. The sketch is famous because everyone loses their composure and tries their absolute darndest to contain their laughter. It does not work, not even a little bit. Various parts of this bit were reportedly not fully planned by the cast, including the famous trombone sound. It seemingly catches everyone off guard, most noticeably Jimmy Fallon, who is clearly and hilariously bewildered by it.
I can't have children.
Number 9. Space, the infinite frontier gone haywire. In this classic sketch, Will Ferrell plays Harry Carey, a real sports broadcaster who commentated on baseball for over 50 years.
Hi everybody, Harry Carey here. And welcome to Space, the Infinite Frontier. We've got a great show lined up for you.
Only this time he isn't talking about baseball, but space. His guest is astrophysicist Kent Waller, played by Jeff Goldblum. Legend has it that Ferrell ad-libbed some of his lines, resulting in Goldblum nearly breaking character.
Heck, I'm curious like a cat. I have a couple of friends that call me Whiskers.
Because you're curious like a cat?
Yes.
The latter star is visibly confused at times, looking off-screen, glancing at the cue cards, and trying to suppress both his puzzled expressions and his laughter. At one point, he can only raise his hands and say this.
I'm confused.
It's a simple question, Doctor. Would you eat the moon if it were made of ribs?
That's okay. It makes for great comedy. Number 8. Supermodel Giggles. Kristen Wiig and Maya Rudolph make for a fantastic comedy duo, and their chemistry is on full display throughout this bit.
Wanda, do you think the answer is beef?
I think it could be beef.
All right. Shauna, what do you think?
I'm not sure that it's beef, Carl, but beef sounds right. Definitely beef.
Called Super Showcase Spokesmodels, it's basically a parody of The Price is Right and its reliance on modeling prizes with attractive women. Wiig and Rudolph are barely holding it together, and their case of the giggles eventually infects Bill Hader and us watching as well.
It's a nice matching golf club by golf club guy.
But the unscripted moments keep coming as Wiig drives the golf cart. First, she nearly tramples Rudolph while backing up. She then plows the cart through the backdrop, prompting Rudolph to laugh and Hader to exclaim,
That wasn't supposed to happen.
Maybe not, but the sketch is even better because of it. Number 7. Adrien Brody introduces Sean Paul. A few celebrities have been banned from Saturday Night Live. Oscar winner Adrien Brody is rumored to be one of them.
I'm so excited to be here tonight. You know? Yeah. Wow, you're hot.
While hosting the show on May 10, 2003, Brody was required to introduce artist Sean Paul, who is Jamaican. To do so, he started talking with a stereotypical accent while donning fake dreadlocks. This offensive bit is thought to have been improvised, and it reportedly irritated many, including SNL creator and producer Lorne Michaels. Brody once said he knows nothing about a so-called ban, but as of September 2022, he hasn't made another appearance on the show.
I want to thank my mom and my dad. I want to thank the whole crew and the cast. Everybody's been really wonderful.
Number 6. The Smelly Basket of Meat. They say that the show must go on. Yes, even if you are suddenly presented with a surprisingly stinky basket of meat.
Yum, I'm getting hungry.
Aidy Bryant and Kate McKinnon star as Wileen and Vanetta, the owners of Smokery Farms. They present a giant basket of assorted raw meat, and things immediately go off the rails. The stench is clearly overwhelming for the performers, and they do everything they can to prevent themselves from gagging. McKinnon simply laughs, while Bryant makes disgusted noises and seemingly riffs about the scent.
Oh, yum! Yeah.
They remain in character throughout, but it's pretty evident that they want nothing more than to drop that basket and run.
That thing smells so bad.
Number 5. Name confusion. There's breaking character, and then there's what happened between Candice Bergen and Gilda Radner. In this sketch, Bergen plays Fern, but on one occasion, she accidentally calls her co-star by her own character's name.
You're not too bright, are you, Fern? I mean, whatever your name was.
This is extra amusing as she's actually scolding Radner's persona for being ditzy. Rather than just going with it, Bergen winds up collapsing into a fit of laughter. As for Radner, she flawlessly addresses the camera and the irony of the whole situation.
You know, we all can't be brainy like Fern here.
The late star certainly knew how to capture a moment and spin it into comedy gold.
That's why I want to talk to you tonight on behalf of a God-given American right. The right to extreme stupidity.
Number 4. Charles Rocket's cursing. A few F-bombs have been dropped on SNL throughout the years, including one by Kristen Stewart.
Okay, so we've got a great show, and I totally care that I'm here because it's the coolest thing ever. Oh.
But none has been as bad or as legendary as the one that came out of the late Charles Rocket's mouth. The comedian was starring in sketches that spoofed the Who Shot JR phenomenon of the TV series Dallas, with his character taking the place of JR. As the episode nears its end, he expresses his desire to get to the bottom of things in a rather explicit manner.
Charlie, how are you feeling now after you've been shot?
Oh man, it's the first time I've ever been shot in my life. I'd like to know who did it.
The live curse obviously wasn't in the script, as it broke some serious broadcasting regulations. Rocket was later fired from the show for a variety of reasons, this potentially being one of them. Number 3. The Wardrobe Department cameo. Aidy Bryant makes another appearance on this list, only this time the humor does not come from her. Well, it kinda does.
I mean, this isn't his first offense, okay?
She's starring in a bit called Inside the Beltway, which parodies political pundits and talk shows. During the segment, a wardrobe person named Audrey waltzes on stage and starts grabbing at her arm.
It feels like a real turning point in the Trump candidacy.
Bryant is quick to smile and wave her off, and she disappears with a giggle. It almost works within the context of the sketch, but this was a genuine mistake made by the dresser. She came on a tad too early, and suffice it to say, the flub caused everyone, especially Bryant, to lose it.
Wow, Mr. Maddox, I'll admit that you were onto something back then.
Number 2, close encounter with laughter. Ryan Gosling often tackles roles that allow him to flex some dramatic acting muscles, so we don't see him let loose as often as we'd like. But he certainly has a funny bone.
That being touched my head, I felt every emotion in its purest form. It was amazing, and I cried, sir.
While hosting, Gosling appeared in an alien-themed sketch called Close Encounter with Kate McKinnon, Cecily Strong, Aidy Bryant, and Bobby Moynihan. McKinnon makes him break, and the rest of the segment descends into total chaos.
Did y'all get the knocker stuff?
No knocker stuff, sorry.
Strong quickly improvises to explain away Gosling's reaction, somehow making the whole thing even better.
Oh, I was carried down gently. He's crying.
Bryant and Moynihan don't exactly keep it together either. McKinnon, meanwhile, rightfully seems pretty proud of what she's accomplished. Hey, there is a reason this became one of her most beloved characters.
Tell me about God. What's God's deal?
Before we continue, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. You have the option to be notified for occasional videos or all of them. If you're on your phone, make sure you go into your settings and switch on notifications. Number 1, Bill Hader destroys the set. Sometimes accidents result in unintentional comedy gold. That's what happened in this hysterical sketch called Girlfriend's Game Night. Cecily Strong's character brings her elderly partner Horace to, you guessed it, game night. He's played by Bill Hader in a bald cap and has a motorized wheelchair. It's this wheelchair that will later prove the source of all the hilarity. While backing up, Hader inadvertently runs into Melissa Villaseñor and pushes her chair into the nearby table. Both actors have to hide their laughing faces from the camera, and Hader can't even get through his next line without cracking up.
You know what? You should be ashamed of yourselves.
The chair-pushing mistake was all him, and it served as a gut-busting ending to an already funny bit. Can you think of any other SNL sketches that went off script? Let us know in the comments.
I was born 7 months too early. Incubation technology was still in its infancy, so they placed me in a cast iron pot